listening to the Shite podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's the story?
On episode 114, Ken's 100th show of the Shite podcast show. How'd you feel, Ken? Where's the cake? Well, I do have a cake, and I spent a lot of money on it, except it's in my room where I'm recording the podcast, so you can't actually see it. It's lovely. I'll explain it to you. It's 3 layers of cake.
Yeah.
The first layer has your face on it. Second is the first time you ever did the podcast, a picture that I secretly took of us. And third one's just kind of a strawberry daiquiri kind of flavour cake. I got alcohol in this cake.
Yeah, alcohol.
Yeah, I kind of felt like you would like a strawberry daiquiri.
I don't have anything that's alcohol, really.
Do you know?
No, I would like anything that's alcohol.
Oh, you would like anything. That's what I thought. Anything alcohol. It's your 3 favourite things. Your face. Yeah. Doing this podcast and alcohol. What are the things closest to Ken's life?
What more could you want?
Yeah, in this cake. But unfortunately, like, I'll have to eat it myself because I'm afraid it might go off. So you might never ever see what the cake is. I have no means of showing it to you. Unfortunately, technology is not available.
And you know the whole lockdown thing and
pandemic. And plastic pollutions and it's better not ever seeing it.
Just in case.
Just in case. Protect ourselves. I'm doing this for your own good. Our show today, anyway, will be kind of. Do you know we talked about Ken's 100th show, and there's a person coming up on our show that we talked about quite early on. It could be even have been the 114 show. Wrinkles the Clown.
Wrinkles the Clown.
He's back, and it's very kind of like themed because it's coming up to Halloween. I kind of feel like, didn't last week we have something about ghosts? We had a woman having casual sex with a ghost.
Was last week a ghost or God?
Yeah, and we had a ghost, and now we have Wrinkles the Clown. Do you know, as we get on to Ken's favourite time of the year, I think we're becoming more festive of a show.
More festive?
Of a show, yeah. Know what we should do for our Halloween show?
What should we do?
Do it from the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, we could do that.
Audio-wise, it will be an absolute nightmare because you're just going to hear wind going through an open door. Getting there in terms of it's up a steep hill. Ken will have to get a taxi or horse ride. I struggle to find the top of the hill in the daylight. So imagine at night we could.
Wasn't one of your 30 at 30 goals to lift a certain amount of weight?
Yeah.
What was the amount of weight?
140 kilos, I think.
Oh, you can practice by carrying me up to Hellfire Club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. That would be good. Yeah.
I'm only 82.
Yeah, they say it's an hour hike. So with you on my back, we could leave next Tuesday, and we should get there by whatever Halloween is.
Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be perfect kind of time.
How can you not even know when Halloween is? Fuck's sake, Mark. It's the best day of the year.
I know. You have your costume ready and all.
In the works.
If you don't, I guess we could just hire Wrinkled Clown also.
Yeah, we could just do that.
Because he's back and he's experienced a bit of a boom. We'll be talking about that later on in the show. Nightclubs reopening. Something I imagine me and you are not that overly excited about. So we're going to talk about maybe past experiences, nightclub life, and how Ken feels about nightclubs. If anyone listen to the podcast, they'll understand how Ken already feels. So kind of I feel like they kind of know Ken.
I don't think it'll be a shock how Ken feels about nightclubs.
And Mark feels about loud music.
Yeah, Mark's getting old.
This would be a great spot if they just turned that music down. People keep dancing, and I can't get to the bar.
I just want to fucking drink.
I just want to drink. I want to sit down and drink. Is there anywhere I can do that?
Quietly.
Quietly. At home. Preferably. That's why I always thought the fucking delivery pint thing, where they'd bring a pint to your house and they pour it and give it to you and then feck off, was it's like this is going to be the next big thing. That's now just allegedly
It
stopped
didn't take off that well, though, did it?
During lockdown, took off fucking phenomenally well. We couldn't get the guy, and then he's like, "You only can have one pint because I'm busy." So order now, or else, like that's it.
Or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, or piss. So you had to go buy cans, as well as like have your pint poured. So you buy 2 pints. One would be like almost flat before you finish your first pint, and then you had to go switch to cans then.
Like, were they actually decent, or were they like kind of try it at home shite?
So, the best analogy, if a can is having a wank and a pint is having sex, then I guess the van ones, where those fake vaginas. Imagine what they are. They're just not quite there, but they're probably a little bit better than your hand. That's the only analogy I know. But honestly,
that's how you choose to describe having a pint from the van.
Yeah, it's just slightly better than a can. It's just because it's not chilled properly. It's like.
You couldn't have just said it's just slightly better than a can, no?
Yeah, but then our audience won't have that lovely mental image in their head.
Of what Mark fucking a fake can.
Do you know, now I say it out loud, I do regret it. I do wish I didn't say it. But in fairness, that's how most of this podcast goes. Things I wish I didn't say.
Yeah, why did they say that?
That will probably later on come back to haunt me.
When you run for political office.
Yeah. Let's bring you back to 214, Mark. It's like, and then 213. And even 211.
Even episode 1, Mark.
Yeah, it was all downhill from the start, to be honest with you. Yeah, then, like, me and Ken, Ken doesn't even really fully know about this. Well, we were talking about also accident-prone kids, and we probably will talk about me, because this still sounds like we're just going to talk about me, but there's another accident-prone kid who managed to, like, survive a pretty decent fall, and so we talked about that. Ken, were you accident-prone as a child?
No.
Believe it or not, I was.
I find it very, very hard.
Yeah, I'm sure our listeners are shocked too.
It's almost as if, like, your nickname in the gym at one stage was Marksident.
Yeah, and like, I'm sure I didn't have any long physical like problems to me into the future.
It definitely had no long-lasting effect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just glad I came up a healthy chap.
Chap. Well, you're a chap.
I'm a chap now. Trying to find words on the spot is hard. And we're going to be also talking about a brand new sport, which I think we should just show our full support behind. And like, do you know what? Like, if there's a Team Ireland going over, I think we should sponsor Team Ireland for this. This is how much I believe in this sport. We can be the face of Ireland for this sport, and I'll talk about it later on the podcast.
We'll give them a $5. That's as far as our sponsorship will extend.
We'll send them over like t-shirts that say, like, maybe have an Irish flag, and then on the other side has the podcast
and a stick of rock.
A stick of rock, yeah. Yeah. Drop it, and then have like slogan: "Drop it like your children."
Drop it like your children.
Or smack it like if it was your child. Something completely outrageous, and possibly get the team into trouble as well as us. But like, It'll make sense when I'm talking about about this new sport. And our Idiot of the Week, we have a teenage boy. Just say a teenage boy who injected himself with mercury for a very stupid reason. I kind of feel like if I tell them, we know point talking about it during the podcast. So I'm going to let you know why. I'm going to keep them in suspense of why he injected himself with mercury. And
it wasn't Machine Gun Kelly, was it?
No, but I'm surprised he didn't make our Idiots of the Week.
He makes Idiots of the Week every week.
Yeah, do you know the reason why he couldn't make it Idiots of the Week this week? Oh, it isn't really like an Idiot of the Week thing, but it's kind of just an annoying thing that he stopped a gig that he's doing so that he could kiss his girlfriend.
That's because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. But you know, these are they're always at. They're always like having these public displays.
He's just an attention-seeking cunt.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that line of industry, though. Everybody's a little bit attention-seeking.
Everybody's a bit attention-seeking, but like he's in an industry full of attention-seekers. He is attention-seeking.
Yeah. Then we have, there's a lot to get through. I very doubt we'll get through all of it, but we'll see how we get on with the show. We might get through all of it and be like, still have a half an hour left. You never know our podcast. Sometimes we come in with 3 stories and feel like we're going to have like a 20-minute show and we end up being an hour and 50 minutes. So we might as well get into it.
It's always eventful.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the reopening of nightclubs. So Ireland's grand reopening is happening. This is, I think England probably made this like a popular to like set a date and have their, I think they call it their Freedom Day, or they had some kind of fucking like slogan over it. And this is like,
that's what they were calling it here as well. They were calling it Freedom Day.
Yeah, it's like, we're back to normal. This is when we like lift everything. And then they're like, oh, well, we have 13 beds in the ICU. So maybe hold on that now, Ted. And,
this is my take on this. They shouldn't set a date to start with. It should be just because Irish people can't be trusted.
What do you mean?
Right? Irish people can't be trusted. You say to like the general public at large, like when did they announce the 22nd of October? Like a couple of months ago. And then people are just kind of like, you know what? It's ending in 2 months anyway, so we don't have to really pay attention to stuff anymore. And then fucking cases skyrocket, ICU cases skyrocket, hospitalizations skyrocket, and everybody's going, sure, it's grand. We're going to be open now soon, and sure, it'll be fine. That's what happened. They should just randomly, the Taoiseach should just make an announcement someday and say, from midnight, everything's open. Yeah,
but I imagine if you are a nightclub and the Taoiseach did that, you'd be like, wait, what's happening? I don't have any staff. And what are the regulations, or what are the precautions? Do I have to look for a COVID cert? Do I not have to look for a COVID? And
always in that, like, that way you're going to have it all like pre-planned. Like, you're not going to be able to tell nightclubs, but you're going to go, look, everything's reopened from tomorrow, and nightclubs and stuff can reopen as soon as they can get organized.
Yeah, but I imagine they're like, in terms of industry, because that's one of the biggest problem with the industry. So like, it's like overnight they're like, oh, nothing's happening, and then they're like, oh, we're changing this, and then suddenly like, oh, we're closing, and then we have like all these steaks have to go in the bin.
Because that is like the biggest fucking problem is, announce a date to an Irish person and they just go, oh, it's grand, sure, it's going to end soon anyway, so it's fine, don't have to start doing this shit anymore.
Whatever about the reopening, if you think that shouldn't go on or not go on, we have 92% vaccinated rates in adult population. Like, if vaccines mean we can't reopen, I don't know what's the plan B is, but like, it's they put out these like frameworks in order to reopen the country. Like, okay, we're going to have these, you have to get like COVID certs, which you go, okay, that's fair enough. And then everyone in the nightclub has to be socially distanced. So you have to keep 2 meters from people who are, I guess, not in your party on when you're on the dance floor. So like, you're going to have these bubbles. Everyone's going to have like 2 meter hula hoops go around, like, and there's going to be bouncer with a measuring stick, making sure people don't come into each other's 2 meter space. Like, I think just that kind of that regulations is retarded. Like, everyone in the nightclub's going to be socially distanced, are they? And people are going to wear masks when they're not like at their table. So you're going to have people wearing masks on dance floors.
No, you don't. You don't have to wear a mask if you're eating, drinking, or dancing.
Or dancing. But you have
So
to
like,
keep social.
what else are you like? What else are you doing in the night?
I can't wait to see a guy try to grind on a girl 2 meters away from her. That's what I'm looking forward to see. I will go to a nightclub to see that. If people follow the regulations the way Leo Varadkar think people are going to follow the regulations.
I don't think they're like. I think you don't have to be as socially distanced in a nightclub when it opens.
No, they said the crowded venues can reopen as long as it remains socially distanced. So I don't understand how you're going to have a dance floor where the people are socially distanced.
I didn't think they said anything about social distancing in a nightclub because obviously it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. They're like, I just imagine if we said this kind of off air, but imagine if Germany was like, oh, well, we're going to look at other countries to see how they're doing this reopening thing, and they spin like a board and they go, oh, Ireland, how are they dealing with nightclubs? And they're like, okay, they're going to do COVID. That's good. Yes. They're going to. Oh, they're going to make sure everyone's socially distanced. That's going to be very hard to regulate. Oh, they're not actually going to regulate it, and they're just going to hope people follow it, and they're just going to trust people to follow. Oh, well, that's risky enough. Are they going to do any antigen testing before you go in there? Oh, they aren't, because they don't believe in antigen testing. So you have, like, I just think it's mad. Like, they're like, we're going to put these regulations so we can blame the nightclubs when this doesn't work. We're going to set out these unrealistic, like, rules and regulations, like keeping 2 meters apart when on a dance floor and all this other stuff. And then if cases skyrocket, well, then it's clearly the nightclub's fault, not our retarded belief of, like, lack of belief in, like, antigen tests.
Yeah, I don't know what, like,
like it's insane, like to think of it, like, in terms of regulation, because, like, in Denmark, what they have is they have very, very few people vaccinated. But if you want to go into a pub and you're not vaccinated, what you have to do is go to a chemist the day before and get an antigen test, and then they give you, like, a QPR code. And then if you go into a pub or a nightclub, they scan it. If it's out of date, then you have to go get another one. You have to wait 15-20 minutes for your results of your test, and then you can go back in and watch your drinking. That's how they're dealing with it. That's like, just copy that. But
like, I don't know what's going to fucking happen. I don't know. You can't trust to not, like, be idiots.
Well, I think like Irish people have shown you can, by and large, you can trust people. First of all, we have 92% vaccinated in adult population. Incredible amount of people. 8% of the population choose not to get the vaccine in adults. Like, that's incredible. So we are obedient. We have still 90%, I'd say 95% of people wearing masks, and even.
Oh, it's definitely far less than that.
I'm just going off any places I go into shops. You probably see more of it than I do, but
it's fucking ridiculous.
Maybe you're in a, like, any place. Like, I go into several, like, garages or shops, and I've, like I said, it's 90%. And anywhere I go into that, like, you might see, it's very rare to see a person not wearing a mask.
And the reason it's ridiculous is because it's left up to the specific business management to decide whether or not they enforce it.
Yeah, well, like any regulations. Like, it's left up to you to enforce, make sure kids don't buy alcohol under age 18. Like, any regulation that comes in, cigarettes, is left up to them.
Yeah, but you see, there's a punishment for doing those things.
Yeah, isn't there a punishment, though, for
There's no punishment for not ensuring people don't wear a mask, or people wear a mask.
Reopening on nightclubs, like, what do you think of nightclubs in reopen? Are you excited about, will you go back to a nightclub, not in terms of?
I wouldn't go to a nightclub to start with, so.
You wouldn't be seen on the dance floor. What was things that you don't like about nightclubs?
Anything.
What do you mean?
I don't like anything about nightclubs.
The fact that they sell alcohol should be, like, a positive for you.
Yeah, but it's not, because it's a fucking pain in the hole to try and get a drink in a nightclub.
So things you don't like is, like, the bar. See, that's what I liked about bar service. And I know, obviously, nightclubs that'd be almost impossible. No one has assigned seats or anything like that. That's what I liked about like pubs where they would just bring a pint to you. You didn't have that thing. It's same with like your man who we have a story about a guy who tried to carry 48 beers through a football stadium. He didn't manage to do it. He had to go through like narrow car doors as well as up a flight of stairs in order to get it. And okay, the pints weren't full and like weren't necessarily fully full. Like there's maybe a few spills here and there, I'd say. Just looking at a photo of it, but he managed to get 48 beers to his friends at a football game, which I thought was like legend of the week status. But
that's impressive.
That's very, very, very impressive. And he said, "Oh, that's nothing. My friend did 50 beers before, so like he holds the record. So like this is standard because they all take turns buying rounds. So instead of like making like a few trips to the bar, he goes, I'm just going to do this one, try to carry 48 beers to the bar. But like carrying, you know, when the bar's really, so you buy 2 drinks or 3 drinks and you try to fucking carry it and it spills everywhere.
Yeah.
I should actually point out at this point because my friends would be annoyed with me if I didn't tell the story at a concert. Foo Fighters were playing Slane. You know, it was literally the wettest day in the world. Like Noah's Ark level of wet. It was just piss and rain. I had a little bit too much to drink, let's say. And surprise. And you know those little fucking pint holders. They give you like plastic thing, and you stick your pints in it. It's not a tray, but it's kind of like a 6-pack of beer might come in, or a 4-pack of beer. They're kind of plastic holders, and you carry it around. So I managed to get from the bar to the pit lane where we're watching a gig. Well, really, really spilling at the top, and like my friends have said, we were watching it. I might have had, I only had one. I didn't have like 2 trays of 4. I think I only had 1 tray of 4. And they're saying we were watching it, and you're stumbling each way, and he's like, it was so impressive. Like you did not spill any beer. Managed to get into the pit lane, didn't spill anything. There you go. He mightn't be that bad. And then 2 of my friends were sitting on the ground, and they managed to spill half my pint over them. I kind of turned and just spilled like all 4 pints. I think like after I had to like pour the pints into like two glasses, and I think I had 2 pints after that. So I managed to basically like spill equivalent of 2 pints over them. After getting from the whole entire into the pit lane, through all the crowds of people into the pit lane, and just like spilled all over them.
That's a very Mark thing to do.
Do you know? I think I was posing for a photo at the time, and I think I turned to like pose, and there's probably a photo of like going around of like me smiling for a camera while the girls are just looking at me like horrified. 2 pints have just been poured over them. Looking like, what the fuck?
What's up with this guy?
No, yeah, like, they knew what's up with this guy. They know me by now. They're like, never. Why did we think it was a good idea to let Mark stand near us?
Yeah, why did we send Mark for the points?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like that to me like is a magnificent feat to be able to carry 48. But like at bars, you know, I remember one of the last times I was in, I wasn't even really like a nightclub, but it was kind of, you know, light bar where it has a dance floor. Kind of taken over. The nightclubs are kind of dead. I kind of felt like it's all these late bars with like dance floors are the thing. And we were just, and we realized, we've entered out the stage of our lives where they're sitting here going, do you know, this place is shit. Like, and I think he ended up going home, and like, I ended up going up with a taxi with my friend. We're like, yeah, I think we're over this stage of our lives. Like, we were quite young. I'm not saying like people in their 30s shouldn't be at this place. You just think close them forever. Let me
like, you know, obviously I have been to nightclubs and stuff, but I fucking hate them. I don't see the fucking point.
Yeah, like I'm not really. There's a few times where when you're out with a big group of people and it can be fun. you'd have to be kind of in that kind of, almost in that mindset, or kind of.
Yeah, like I just couldn't be arsed with them. Even when pubs reopened, I was like, meh.
I'll drink at home.
Yeah, like I don't really give a shit.
Oh, enjoy like a nice pint of Guinness poured. See my analogy with the whole like sex over like a can, which is like fucking hand job. It really is the fucking difference between like can of Guinness. Pretty good analogy, I think.
Have you tried the Surge cans yet?
No, I'm thinking about buying it though.
Like I want to know somebody's opinion who has tried the Surge cans.
The new one, the battery powered ones that came out weren't good. There's a guy on YouTube who fucking tries Guinness in different places, and any kind of knockoff version of like a dark stout he'll try. He tried what's the other one? Island's Edge. He tried that and he gives reviews. And he was trying it and he said the Guinness sent him out one and he said, I'm not going to review this. This is shit. I don't like it. It's not going to be a good review. So there's no real point of doing one. But he said there's a new one coming out that's like a chargeable one. And he says that
one's out.
Oh, is it? It's like €25. And he said
€25. It's like it's 15 quid for 6 cans, and then it's 25 quid for the fucking.
Yeah, I think it's meant to, like, there's a knack of pouring it and all, but it is meant to be better than a can. It's meant to give a head.
I watched videos on YouTube of lads doing it, and like all of them except one, like admitted that like this was sent to a load of people by Guinness. Guinness made me pay for it because I told him that I'm going to do an honest review. I'm not just going to say that it's brilliant.
Yeah.
He like done it and he's like, look, it's better than a normal can, but it still tastes like shit.
Yeah, well, do you know, like, it's, like I said, you can never get to the standard of a proper port pint that's chilled, and then it's like all the other things that go into pouring a pint. Yeah, it's weird. We better move on. Spend a lot of time talking about drink. Make me thirsty. And we'll move on to accident-prone kids. So this is a story you had.
Yes, this 4-year-old kid. I think it was America.
America.
It was in Kentucky, in Red River Gorge, and this 4-year-old fell 70 feet. He hit multiple ledges on his way down. When I read this, I had this image of, where Homer Simpson keeps falling down the cliff.
Yeah, that's the exact image I have too. It's like where he tries to jump the gorge and he like has this horrific fall.
He was fine. He had like a couple of like little bruises and scratches, but like his dad went down after him. Obviously he fell and his dad was like, oh shit. So his dad left down after him.
I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
I'm assuming he went down safer because it doesn't give that he got any injuries. So
imagine he fell down the exact same way and fell on top of the kid.
I'm assuming he just went down. They called like an ambulance and stuff, and the paramedics were like, "Oh, can't see anything wrong with him." We bring him to the hospital and checked out. He got checked out in the hospital, and the doctors were kind of like, "There's nothing wrong with him. Like, why is he here?"
It is mad. So some kids can actually just like fall, and maybe it's just such a body's relaxed. Just think about falling. That like if you fall relaxed, you're less likely to get injured. Whereas if you fall tense, and they say like why kids can fall downstairs and be all right, whereas an adult is like because they're oblivious to what's happening to them. Whereas if it like an adult falls, they tense up and they become more rigid and they end up getting more hurt.
I think that's what it is. Like it's like. That's why kids don't really get hurt kids under a certain age don't really get hurt in car crashes.
Is that necessary too?
Yeah, like babies and stuff don't really get hurt in car crashes because they were completely like when a person or an older child knows, like it might be like a microsecond before like impact, they know and they tense up, but the baby has no idea what's going on, so they never tense up.
Oh. That's interesting. Yeah, I was extremely like accident prone. I think my whole family were accident prone. A lot of head trauma, as you see.
It's a
common fault in the current
inherited trait, is it?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe it comes from my mom's side actually, but that doesn't seem that accent prone.
So your mom in the family is the accent prone side.
Yeah, well, then again, I know a lot of my uncles and aunties, and they don't seem like the world's most injured people as I was. Yeah, because like we used to like, what was the kid trying to do, like at the time?
He just slipped.
Like what did he slip off?
He slipped off the cliff.
Was he just walking at the edge?
He must have been.
Kids, we used to play this game. It's probably why we were so accident prone. And we used to jump out of a car while it was still going, like just before it stopped. So it wouldn't be like on like any certain speed or anything like that. But it's like we unseat belt and we'd open it and we'd jump out just before my mum or dad would stop the car. But then I did it one day and I tripped and fell forward, and then the car drove over my legs. It only caught me. It was grand. And I was like, "Why? You're grand. You're fine." There's nothing wrong with you. Get up out of that.
Mark hasn't walked since.
He hasn't walked properly since. When I was climbing a tree and we were like, go a bit up the tree, and I literally hit every branch on the way down. Tore my ass up on something bad.
My friend tore my ass up. My friend, when he was like a baby,
yeah,
his mom forgot about him.
Yeah,
So, like they had been shopping and he wasn't that old, so like he wasn't really used to going shopping with a baby. And she had him in like a carry seat, and she put the carry seat like on the roof of the car while she was putting the shopping into the car.
Oh yeah,
and forgot that he was there, and drove off.
Yeah. Oh, well, he was obviously a good bit younger, but we were all in my when I lived in Tallaght, so we were all like 5 around that age, and there's like my mom had us. This is a time where like kids didn't necessarily need to be seatbelted, or they're allowed kind of.
Most cars didn't have seatbelts.
Yeah, we had like a space wagon. What do you call it? A state car, and like our state car, we used to hang out in the back. Like we just drive around sitting on like the wheel arch.
Yeah, we used to do that with my friends as well. My friend's ma had one as well.
Yeah,
just sitting back chilling.
Yeah, so like she had like 5 kids in the back, of like, and there's 3 seats, and my sister was sitting on the door handle, and of course my mum was going, and we were all messing. Like, you imagine 5 kids all screaming, and like my mum was just like, "You brats or whatever, shut up!" And like she wasn't really trying to block us out. And then my sister fell out of the car, like the car door opened as she's going around a bend, and I just remember her like falling out of the car and rolling to a curb. And there's this old woman like who's raking her garden, with leaves out. I'm like, "Man, Rachel fell out of the car. And she's like, "Would you ever stop?" And she's like, no, we're serious. She drove off and get driving for it. Realised she actually did fall out of the car and had to go back as the world's greatest mother.
I remember trying to, when I don't know, maybe around the same age, like 5 or 6, and my sister was like 3 or 4, and we were in the car and she was really, really fucking annoying me. We were like fighting in the back seat, and again, there was no seatbelts. There was no like need for kids to be in like a fucking travel seat until they're 11. Like, it was just 2 kids in the back of the car baiting each other, and I opened up the door and I tried to throw her out the door. And my dad's like driving pretty fast. Like, I tried to throw her out the fucking door, and my mom's like roaring and shouting and screaming and giving out. And I think my uncle was in the back of the car with us, like, and he's only a couple of years older than me. And like he like grabbed the door and closed the door, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
He was doing.
It's like, that's it, you're gone. You're going out the door.
You're going out. I had enough of you. Goodbye. Yeah, kids watch way too much cartoons and don't think anything bad can happen to them.
It's just funny though. I think everybody tries to throw their like brother or sister out the door.
Yeah, everyone tries to like hurt their siblings in some way.
If you didn't try to kill your sibling, are you really siblings?
I actually tried to like save my sister's life before, and then I fucking scalded myself. Last time I did that, anyway.
I did save my sister's life before.
Yeah. Well, what did you do?
She was drowning.
My sister said I did save her from drowning once, and I can't really remember that. But
yeah, like I can't. Like it was in the bath. Like I can't swim around. Like it was in the bath. My ma ran out. My sister was getting washed in the bath, and again, I'm only 2 years older. So like this shows you the level of parenting in like the late 80s, early 90s.
yeah.
That like I was again maybe 5. My sister was like 3, and the phone rang, and my ma was like, "Just watch your sister there for a second."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay," and then she fell, and she like I was like first I think I was like, this is funny. And then I was like, wait, hang on, she's not
Bubbles stopping. I think we were in Spain, and my sister jumped in the pool, realized she couldn't swim the best, and there was like a dad out with a kid, his kids, and he was obviously teaching them how to swim or being a good parent, I guess. Not letting the kid go in his pool unsupervised, and like apparently like. Did like teammates was struggling. He was like, "Oh no, my kid!" No, I was jumping with armbands, and yeah. The other one was like we were in like a mobile home on holidays in Wexford, typical like Tala family, and like she was sitting on the cooker, and like literally all like my nan was there, my mom's twin, and my nan's sister. Caravan packed full of people. It had to be like close to 20 people in this small caravan. No one, and they were cooking. I think they were cooking soup because it fell over me. And no one paid any notice to my sister sitting on the oven door. She had pulled down, and it was using it as a seat. And the fucking cooker was starting to tilt forward. There had to be 3 adults around the cooker at this stage, unoblivious to like the impending doom. And I came in and seen what was happening, so I was like pushed her off. But obviously, in my attempt to like get her off the fucking cooker before, like as it was tilting over, the added weight of me pushing her off probably pushed the fire, and I ended up spilling on top of me. I was like, last time I'm doing that.
Yeah, fucking younger sister, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Younger, heavier sister.
Does she listen to the podcast?
Probably not. Well, yeah, the 90s was a great time to be a kid. It's just before everything got too serious.
Yeah, like I remember seatbelts being brought in as a thing, and like still everybody was like, fucking death traps.
I'm pretty sure the seatbelts were a thing in the 90s. I'm pretty sure there probably was regulations, but probably was very lightly enforced in Ireland.
Cars, people couldn't afford new cars, so like nobody had a car with seatbelts.
Well, but people had five seats in a car, but they had 10 kids, so it was like I remember it was
seatbelts. I remember seatbelts weren't in cars. We didn't have a car with seatbelts until like the fucking nearly the end of the 90s.
I think our advice to like, I think a car, this could be a load of bollocks. What I kind of remember was the general rule was the younger kids had to be belted, and the older kids could be allowed free, because like at least the younger kids are protected, not the projectile that would come the unbelted like child in the car if it was involved in a crash.
There was like I remember my mom and dad saying like there was like a rule that babies couldn't travel in the front.
Oh, that's still a rule.
Right, yeah, but like car seats weren't a necessary thing either. So like you could have a baby with no car seat. So where's the baby supposed to be fucking sitting?
I think like if you like, you know, when it's in a baby seat, like that that could have to be in the front. But like let's say a 4-year-old couldn't sit in the front. I'm pretty sure nowadays they still can't sit in front.
My mom and dad didn't have like a fucking baby seat thing.
Yeah.
And my ma had my sister on her knee in the front of the car. and they came to a Garda checkpoint, and I'm sitting in the back at 2.5 on my own, no seatbelts, no like fucking car seat strapping me in, sitting there. And my ma said when they were coming up to the Garda checkpoint, she just threw my sister into the back seat and was like, "Hold your sister."
Ah!
And the guard just like looks in and no, everything's fine here. There's a 2.5-year-old in the back seat holding a baby. This is fine.
2.5-year-old holding a 1.5-year-old.
Like,
Together they make 3.
like, what the
Together
fuck
they
is
make
that
4,
about?
Mark. But that's all normal. Yeah, because like there wasn't really. I remember. Yeah, it was just like, oh, try share a seatbelt. There wasn't. I didn't realize people just didn't have enough seats. Back then, so there's like, okay, stick the older ones in the back, because that used to be our rule. Older ones could be in the back.
Yeah, like, well, there's only 2 of us. Like, but I remember the first car we got with seatbelts, and we were like, "Oh, we're not wearing fucking seatbelt."
I know we had to wear seatbelts. I remember, but then it would quickly run out after the third kid. It would run out of seatbelts, and then they're like, shove it in the middle there, or try share the seatbelt there. And there's just be like attempts to seatbelt less, but there'd always be 2 or 3 like fucking that would, like I said, would be in the boot or just rolling around the back freely, sitting on the door seat. So it's nice to see the parenting that we grew up is still alive and well. Is basically what we're getting at here.
It's just mental.
We should move on, and once again, maybe like our idiot of the week is a teenager, so maybe dangerous parenting is still alive and well. Actually, no, we'll not go into that. We're going to what I think is going to be Shite sport. Like we can really fully get behind this, and it's very new. It's just came out, and it's France, Spain, and they've already had a World Cup. It is a game we're all familiar with, so we all know the rules already. This is just it's now being put onto, I guess, YouTube, I imagine, for us to first watch and then participate in. And it's balloon keepy uppies, Ken.
Were you any good at this?
I was alright. It didn't seem as hard. Like, it's just basically because you'd be all in like a sitting room. You might hit over a chair, and then the another person on a chair hits it to you, but you wouldn't be like actively trying to win. You'd be just kind of making sure it doesn't. You'd be all kind of working together so it doesn't fall, just didn't hit the ground. What about you? Were you very good at it?
All right, like it was one of those things. Like you said, like it was one of those things you weren't really competitive with.
Yeah, and now somebody in Spain, a footballer in Spain called Gerard Piqué, apparently very famous, and then there's a superstar and Mr. Shakira. So maybe that's like Shakira's, the singer, Hips Don't Lie girl. Maybe that's her husband, and he took her name, or her dad. I don't know. He just said football superstar Shakira, Gerard Piqué, alongside a Spanish YouTuber called IB Lonsa or Lonson. Lonso. Yeah, it's Lonso, I think. See, what it is 2 L's, ANOS. I'm not used to 2 L's at the start of a word.
You're not used to 2 L's at the start of a word.
Yeah, Lonso.
It depends on what the third letter is.
Hey, can Spanish come back here now? Come on.
I never did Spanish, and just kind of like I know it depends on what the third letter is. I think one of the L's might be silent.
What's the point? Silent letters, like unless they interact with the word, silent letters are retarded. Like a silent letter, if it changes like an I or A, but silent, so you don't pronounce it, but you change it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point having it there? But anyway, moving on from that. They're the ones behind this game, and they've held a World Cup. They had 32 countries, Ken, who participated in this, and just listen to the passion of the commentator, and this is indicative of all Spanish commentating in terms of like how they just commentate. It's just everything's like the most exciting thing in the world. And I feel like I'd listen to a Spanish commentator commentating over a can of beans being poured, over like a person getting dressed in the morning.
That's a bit creepy, Mark.
Well, do you know, wait till you hear this. And then remember, this is just two people hitting a balloon around on a stage. This is the best commentating I've ever heard in my life. Like, how can you not listen to that and go, okay, I'm in. I'm into this. I am now invested. I'm invested because these guys are fucking invested. Look, that's how passionate they have over two grown adults hitting a balloon around. I'm in. Be honest,
you'd be up for this.
I'd be 100% up for this. 100% up for this because, first of all, because I read it and I was, oh, this is kind of stupid. And then I was like, they said, here's the game. And they have like a little clip which I took the audio from. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in. I was like, I went from not bothered to sign me up. I am fully in. Just to hear that commentary. Like, chess could be made 100 times better if he was commentating on. Jiu-Jitsu could be made 100 times better. Take the world's most boring sports. Add that Spanish flair to it. I wish they would commentate like that in English so I could actually just understand what they're saying.
Maybe the commentary doesn't even match the sport.
It doesn't have to. I don't care what that is, but yeah, like it's just so passionate about. Remember, just two adults hitting a balloon and making sure one doesn't hit the ground. So the stage is also quite weird because obviously this started on the mean houses of around the world, and they wanted to keep that kind of like tradition to the sport. So like the stage is like there's like a small car, and there's a table with like a vase on it. There's like a light. There's like it kind of decorated like a house. Obviously, they have a bit of like branded marketing because obviously Volkswagen sponsored the event. It was a little up. That was that they're hitting a balloon around, and they could hit over like a couch that was also there, and they had these obstacles that like people had to get around in terms of like you could hit it across the couch, and the person had to race across the couch and hit it by any means possible in order to stop from hitting the ground, and then the person would then have to chase after the balloon, make sure it didn't hit the ground, and that's where the drama comes into it. Like, it is ridiculous, and you are looking at just two grown adults, but I could see it kind of taking off, because like, I wouldn't say Sky Sports will take this over, like, will invest in it or anything like that, but Dave, or, like, Comedy Central, or, Dave is probably the best partnership of that, or E4, or something like that. So, like, as a bit of a joke, it's not really a sport, but less people would be interested. People would watch it, I think, or even on YouTube.
It probably YouTube. What's that, like, YouTube pay-per-view thing?
Yeah, exactly. YouTube pay-per-view. I don't know if people pay for it. I think you have to give it free.
Like, the YouTube pay-per-view thing is like €2 or something.
Yeah, but like, even if you pull over a paywall, I don't think people will pay for it. I think you like get your advertisers and then like have them into the broadcast kind of thing. But yeah, I think we can get behind this. We could actually participate. We could send you over, Ken. You can't really train jiu-jitsu, so this is something that you can practice at home. You can become really good at it. And then you could represent Ireland and the Shite podcast show as our representative for the World Cup next year's, or in 4 years' time, or whenever the World Cup is, in balloon keepy uppies. How about that, Ken?
Why not?
Exactly, and we now have a Team Ireland. I don't know if one of the 32 countries were Ireland. I don't know if we have set up a competition and beat somebody's ass. I'll actually throw it out there. Any other podcasters in Ireland who wants to challenge us for this honour representing Ireland, Ken's down. And Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly, you motherfucker.
Yeah, you haven't answered us back about fighting them. How about a balloon contest?
Yeah, you take everything I've worked for, motherfucker.
You can't handle this shit. And that's what I mean by when I said smack it like your child, because you have to smack it to keep it up. See, it all makes sense now. I'm not a horrible human being. We'll move on to idiots of the week, will we?
Go on. What are the idiots of the week for this week?
So idiots of the week. I don't know. I don't think
Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, honorary mention for Machine Gun Kelly for kissing his girlfriend. That is disgusting. No one needs to see that. I don't think we'll have time for the Shark House. Can we save the Shark House story for a different day? And we'll go on to the kid who decided it was a good idea to drink mercury.
As you would.
As you would. So a teenage boy has injected himself with mercury in his attempt to become an X-Men Ken.
How old is this kid?
15.
Is he not a bit old for this?
No, like in fairness, I like 15-year-old Mark. I don't think I would have ever.
I suppose. Hang on, wasn't like 15-year-old Mark fucking saving an inflatable fucking boat in case the country got flooded?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're. This is a level of intelligence you're dealing with some 15-year-old boys. And I remember they wanted to drop the voting age to 16.
There's a reason behind that, but we won't get into it.
Okay, we won't get into that. Political.
There's only some people that want to drop it to 16.
Yeah, and
might be advantageous.
Yeah. Anyway, so like the 15-year-old boy decided he wanted to become a person called Mercury, and she has fair play to him for supporting female superheroes.
Is this definitely a boy?
Yeah, it says 15-year-old boy, and then it says he, after watching the Wolverine origin movie, decided he really liked the character Mercury, who wasn't actually in the Wolverine origin story. And they said he was probably referring to maybe a comic book that he read. But Mercury, she's not named as Mercury in X-Men 2, but she was in X-Men 2. I've recently started to watch the X-Men kind of franchise, and first of all, the storyline's all over the place. So,
have you ever watched them before?
I have, yeah. Like, it's kind of
like rewatching them.
Yeah, I'm rewatching. I was trying to like watch them in chronological order of what they would have
Say that again.
Chronological order. Why is that not the word?
The first time was funnier.
Yeah, for the chronological order. It's a large word. I want to pronounce every syllable as a separate word, Ken. Anyway, and like the storyline's all over the place because obviously the first Wolverine starts out in the American Civil War, but then goes past the first X-Men movie. So you kind of have to watch 1, 2, 3 Wolverine movies. Then I think it's whichever one is where they had to keep going back in time, and Wolverine had to convince Xavier about to go do his thing. They certainly got a lot better anyway, the X-Men movies over time.
I like the X-Men movies.
Rewatched them. Wolverine 2 is dog shite. It's so bad. Yeah, it's definitely just made for like let's try to get some of that Asian money market. So all of a sudden he goes to I think Japan, and it's like, yes, well let's do this movie for us.
But sure, isn't that what like the majority of them do? Like the Dark Knight was the same.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, like there are financial reasons why they. Yeah, there were financial reasons why they're doing this, and like
you've got a madman ripping up your city. I'm going to go to Japan.
Yeah, but anyway, but as he go on, as he like after X-Men 3 was the like start of like Wolverine 1 was pretty good, X-Men 2 was really good, and then 3 was like hit or miss. There was like some scenes were all right, and then after that, kind of all the X-Men movies after that were fucking class. But anyway, so after watching the Wolverine origin story, he says that like he wanted to become a character that wasn't even in the movies. So the doctor said, well, he obviously probably read the comic books. She wasn't in this because they first of all thought it was substance abuse. It's like, how did he get his hands on mercury? And he thought it was like taking.
How did he get his hands on mercury?
So it was a broken thermometer, and he also broke off. You know, I think check your temperature.
Oh, what an idiot! Like absolute fucking mong.
And was injecting it into his arm in order to get it into his blood, because mercury, her blood is made of mercury, so she can change her form and have like an arm as a sword, or she can go under a door and then re-solidify.
Basically Terminator.
Yeah, she's basically Terminator. They ripped off the Terminator thing, and basically that's her superpower. You see her in X-Men 2. That's where she kind of shows up. It's that girl that fights Wolverine. She's Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they don't mention her as Mercury. So like that's where it comes in.
I might rewatch them movies. I haven't seen them in ages.
Yeah, they're on Disney Plus. They're definitely worth a watch. Yeah, start with the X-Men 1, 2, 3, Wolverines, and go that way. Then Deadpool.
Just watch them in the order they came out.
Yeah, well, it would be 1, 2, 3 Wolverine. You can, go on. I don't know what the chronological order in terms of release dates are. He also had, so they sent him to see a psychiatrist. And was like, after talking to him and investigating like why he had mercury in his body, he admitted that he had tried to get superpowers like the X-Men movie. But he also, it wasn't his first attempt. He also had previously let a spider bite him in order to get spider powers, which didn't work. But he kind of ignored that because the more pressing matter was him injecting mercury into his body. Now, when he injected it into his body, you might think that should kill him. First of all, he waited 2 months before going to the hospital.
As you do.
Yeah, because after injecting, he developed these welts on his arm that didn't go away for 2 months. And after they hadn't went away for 2 months, he went to the doctor to see what the crack was. They're like, yeah, well, we're finding high amounts of mercury in your body. What's up? What's up with this? And what they basically said was he was very lucky because he was injecting it into his arm, but he was missing the vein. He's just injecting it skin level. But if he had injected it directly into his vein, he would have died. He would have got the mercury poison. He would just like, I think it's a form of like poisoning, a lethal poisoning at that.
Like, what a fucking moron.
But he's not the only person. So another 14-year-old boxer received an injection of metallic mercury, thinking that it would strengthen his sports performance. And a subject who believed that mercury injections will improve his sexual powers, Ken.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't know where. Maybe he thought like he obviously maybe was finding it hard to keep up, and he said, "Oh, if this was metal, it would be like stronger."
Like, who the fuck even? The second one, the boxer, you said he received an injection. So who the fuck injected him?
Probably his father. Probably his father is a moron.
If you're 14 and inject yourself with mercury, you're a fucking idiot.
If you're 40 and you have your child who you want to be Muhammad Ali,
injected with mercury, you're an even bigger fucking moron.
Well, I know certain people who would box would take calcium supplements, and that's the idea. And then they punch like walls and punch hard surfaces, and it's create like little fractures in their arm. So then your hand, so then your like bones kind of calcify and harden, and end up developing. They don't have any knuckles. It just looks like one big fist, and their hand looks just kind of permanently swollen. But the idea is to strengthen your hand so that you can punch harder.
Do you know what the difference between calcium supplements and mercury is?
One, you can buy in your chemist. 2, you'll have to go to your doctor.
Like,
but yeah, I just love the idea of the guy going in taking it. And his exact example of what he said was, "Oh, I want to get sexual powers. Like, I don't improve like sexual driver, and I want powers. I want to like have." I
wonder was he injecting straight into his balls?
Imagine, yeah, maybe it was just, yeah. I actually don't know. I don't really want to. We've already given our listeners far too much mental images right now. I don't know if they need another one.
Of course they do.
I wonder if I had any problems though.
You must have had problems if you went to a doctor about it.
Well, they never said it didn't work. Again, they never said he did it, but it didn't work. They just stopped talking about it then. So maybe maybe it did. It definitely didn't. And I don't think we should probably advise right now that they should not do any of this, because all these people had to go
idiots.
are idiots and had to go for medical treatment. But I'm just saying out the fact that in the article they didn't say it didn't work. More likely it didn't, and people shouldn't try it. But maybe it did.
How stupid could you be?
Very stupid. And by the way, and that last one could be a possible man. Like, that could be a grown adult. Whoever about 14, I know the 14-year-old boxer sounded like an adult who received injections of metallic mercury. It was probably an adult injecting him. But they're like, wonder if this works. Kid drops said, nope.
Here's something we've seen on the internet.
Yeah, this definitely works. Yeah, and I think this happened this happened in 2014. This is quite an long time ago. So this is like,
if this happened in like the 70s, I could understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, when science wasn't out there, but yeah, it's happened in 2014. So maybe, let's hope the kid's all right. I don't know why it was only being publicized now, but
we hope the kid's all right.
We hope the kid's all right, and the boxer actually grew up to be Tyson Fury. Imagine that. Imagine if, that was actually me. I used to take it.
Tyson Fury's parents were told he was going to die when he was born.
Yeah, he said he won't stand a chance because he's born premature, wasn't he?
He was 8 weeks premature and he only weighed a pound.
Yeah, and the dad was like, I'm going to give him the two greatest names in the world, Tyson after Mike Tyson, and Fury. I think their surname is Fury. So this kid's gonna be This kid's gonna be a world champion.
Just mad, like.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's such a good success story. Your man's like, he deserves every kind of achievement he gets. And you see,
I like him. He's funny.
Yeah, he's also hilarious and super down to earth.
Have you seen that video of him during lockdown? He was doing train with Tyson Fury kind of thing on YouTube. He done a live stream video.
No,
he ran through a training session and he's doing he's doing jumping jacks.
Yeah,
and he's 10 jumping jacks, and his kids are in the room, and he's talking to the kids. He's like, "Get out of the room! You're in my way! Get out of the room!"
Yeah,
and the young man goes, "You're not but a fucking prick." And Tyson's just kind of he kind of starts laughing, but his wife just goes serious face and marches out of the room after the kid.
That kid's getting dead.
It doesn't matter who you are. It's always going to be Mammy that's coming for you.
Yeah. The man looks at her.
Yeah, it's just really funny.
That look.
Get out of the room! You're in my way. Fuck you, you prick!
I'll fight you, fight you, little dirtbag.
Oh, really funny.
It'd be funny if Tyson turned around and go, "What the fuck did you say?" Picks the kid up. It's mother that looks at you. Oh shit.
Yeah, you always know that when your mother comes after you, you're in trouble. When your dad comes after you, he's only coming because your ma said to come after you.
Your mom has released the dogs to hell.
But when your ma comes after you, you know that you're in real trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and what did the police say?
The cops are like, give the phone back.
Yeah, give him back his phone. But yeah, it's interesting. We'll probably leave it there. We went a little bit over time, but sure, look, shit had to be said. A lot in the show, we talked about a little bit about reopening, a lot about our childhood. It's like a therapy session, really. I feel lighter.
It
was Ken's 100th show, and we'll be back 115.
Yeah.
215, sorry. And next week on the Shite Talk Podcast Show.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Shut up and sit down.